Have you ever noticed that some of the kindest people you know are also the most exhausted? They're the ones who always show up, always smile, and always say yes when someone asks for help. But if you look closely, you might see the weariness in their eyes. Behind that kindness often lies something heavier, something deeper. We often think of kindness as pure and uncomplicated. We teach our children to be kind. We admire it in our leaders, and we often measure our own humanity by how much compassion we can give. But kindness, like everything else in life, has a shadow. When ignored, this shadow can turn an admirable quality into something destructive. It often starts in childhood. A child learns that being agreeable and selfless earns them love, praise, and approval. Over time, this belief buries itself deep in their system. Kindness becomes a survival strategy. As they grow older, the line between who they are and what others expect them to be starts to blur. They become the reliable one, the friend who never complains, the person who always sacrifices their own needs for others. But when kindness is forced, driven by a fear of rejection or a desperate need to be valued, it becomes a mask. And masks, when worn for too long, can suffocate the person underneath. Think about the people in your life who are endlessly kind. They'll listen to your problems for hours, help you move on their only day off, or lend you money they don't really have to spare. At first, it feels admirable. But if you've ever been that person, you know the quiet truth that often bubbles up behind it. Resentment. A little voice inside whispers, "What about me?" But that voice is quickly silenced. Chronic kindness carries an unspoken rule. Your needs always come last. Psychologists have a term for this compassion fatigue. It is what happens when you give so much of your empathy and care that you completely run dry. Your mind and body start to pay the price. We see it a lot in healthcare workers, teachers, and even parents. But it's not limited to those professions. Everyday kind souls are at high risk, often showing higher levels of anxiety, depression, and physical strain compared to those who maintain a healthier balance. Kindness without boundaries is self-erasure. It's like watering every plant in the garden except your own roots. Eventually, the gardener collapses, and the garden withers too. Kindness can also become a subtle weapon against yourself. When you're known as the kind one, people start to rely on it. They shape their behavior around your generosity, often unintentionally neglecting your needs. Without realizing it, your kindness teaches others that your feelings are negotiable. The paradox is painful. The kinder you are, the more invisible you can become. And invisibility isn't peace, it's loneliness cloaked in politeness. Now, this isn't to say that kindness is bad. Of course not. Genuine kindness is a beautiful, powerful force. But there is a massive difference between kindness that comes from abundance and kindness that bleeds from emptiness. One heals, the other corrodes. Studies show that people who struggle to say no, often the kind and agreeable types experience significantly higher rates of burnout. Altruism boosts our well-being, but only when it's voluntary and authentic. When it's performed out of guilt or fear, it just increases our stress. The cost of this endless, unreciprocated kindness is enormous. Over time, you lose sight of who you are. Your identity becomes entirely tied to serving others. All those repressed needs and emotions stir frustration. The sadness, the exhaustion collect in the shadows. Eventually, they surface in ways you can control, like snapping at loved ones over something small, harboring passive-aggressive resentment, or even having more intense emotional outbursts. Kindness without honesty can breed the very monster you're trying to suppress. Every time you say yes when you desperately want to say no, every time you smile when you feel like crying, or hold back your truth to keep the peace, you abandon yourself. And self-abandonment always has consequences. So why do so many kind people struggle with setting boundaries? Our culture and upbringing play a huge role. Many of us are conditioned to equate kindness with worthiness, to believe that love must be earned through selflessness, and to confuse people-pleasing with genuine compassion. But true kindness doesn't erase the self, it includes the self. If your kindness is costing you your mental health, your energy, or your joy, it isn't kindness anymore. It's self-neglect in disguise. Neuroscience even helps explain part of this. Our brains have mirror neurons that make us wired to feel empathy for others. But these neurons don't distinguish between healthy empathy and destructive empathy. Constant exposure to other people's problems and suffering without any boundaries floods our brains with stress signals. This leads to chronic stress, emotional exhaustion, and even physical strain. The dark side of kindness isn't kindness itself, it's how our fears, our conditioning, and our unhealed wounds can twist it into a mask that slowly consumes us. If you've ever felt this exhaustion or this invisibility, you're not broken. You're simply facing the natural result of a world that celebrates giving but doesn't teach us how to protect ourselves at the same time. The question then becomes, how do we embrace kindness without letting it destroy us? How can we stay compassionate without becoming martyrs? The answer is simple, though it can feel incredibly uncomfortable at first. Kindness must begin with you. Being kind to yourself is not selfish. Think about the safety instructions on an airplane. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first, before helping others. If you neglect your own needs, your ability to truly care for anyone else suffocates. Boundaries, though they might feel intimidating, are the clearest form of honesty you can offer. They define where you end and others begin, preventing relationships from slipping into dependency or silent suffering. Healthy boundaries actually help your kindness remain authentic, sustainable, and magnetic. Setting a boundary is about saying yes to yourself, even if it feels like you're betraying the kind identity others have for you. Some people in your life might resist, push back, or even withdraw. But any relationship that was built on your endless giving was never truly balanced to begin with. The key is to move from what is called pathological altruism, sacrificing yourself to the point of harm, to authentic kindness. Real goodness doesn't erase the self. It shows up fully as a whole person while still choosing compassion. Here are a few practical strategies to help you practice sustainable kindness. First, practice the pause. Before you automatically say yes, take a breath and check in with your own needs and energy levels. Second, learn to use gentle no's. You can say no kindly but firmly. You don't need a long excuse. Third, Reframe your worth. You are valuable just as you are. Your worth isn't measured by how much you give to others. And finally, tend to your own garden. Nourish yourself with friendships that fill you up, hobbies you love, and the rest you deserve. Kindness so often becomes a mask, a smile to hide exhaustion, a yes to avoid conflict, a gesture of generosity to prove our worth. But masks are heavy. True growth comes from taking off the mask and letting kindness come from the real you who can say both yes and no honestly. The you who can be kind without disappearing. If you want to get to know your authentic self, notice how you treat yourself when no one is watching. Do you allow yourself to rest when you're tired? Do you forgive yourself when you make a mistake? Do you speak to yourself with compassion? If not, then your kindness to others is resting on fragile ground. But when you start to nurture yourself, your kindness will begin to flow from a place of abundance. It will be inspiring rather than exhausting, and it will lift others up while keeping you alive. The dark side of kindness isn't about rejecting it. It's about transforming it from a mask into a mirror, from a compulsion into a choice, from a survival tactic into an act of love. So the next time someone calls you kind, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this kindness coming from fear or from freedom? From exhaustion or from abundance? From the mask or from the real me? The answer to that question will reveal more about you than any compliment ever could. The true monster lurking inside kind people isn't anger or frustration. It's self-neglect. But when you face it, when you set down the mask, your kindness won't disappear. It will grow stronger, sharper, and more radiant than ever before. It becomes the kind of kindness that not only keeps others alive, but most importantly, keeps you alive too. That is the kind of kindness the world truly needs. Thanks so much for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that helps you understand yourself better. Take care of yourselves.